Witches, it's Luna here with an unboxing test drive for you of a gift deck. And this deck is called, as you see, I have edited out the slur, the Roma Oracle cards. So if you don't know what slur I edited out, please do a Google search. It is the G word. And we've got this Italian name as well, Sibilla della Zingara. I don't know if the Z word is also a slur. I do not know. At any rate, the one that I do know is a slur, I have edited out. So anyhow, this is by Jacqueline Murray, and I want to say that this was something I came upon doing a Google search, and I found the PDF, I bookleted it and printed it out, so now I have more of a manual. All right, let's take a look at these. This was a gift from my dear, dear friend Samantha. Up at the top, I'll cover where I haven't edited out, it says, "Open the door to good fortune." Pardon me. So, of course, it's a Scarabeo deck, and we have several different languages, as per usual. Let's take a look at the cards. This is a little tuck box that I have already done my Scotch tape reinforcement on. I'm kind of weird that way. And I can also tell you I will be doing another modification. I've been doing this for the last few days. I open my mouth to say a word that is in my mind and something else comes out. It's alarming. Anyway, I am going to be doing another deck modification on this edging in black, because we've got black here, we've got black here. They come out so lovely when you edge in black. All right, there is a little white book that goes with it. But let me zoom in. Let's take a look. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. It's very gray here, but it's getting warm, so very nice. At any rate, here are the backs. A lovely graphic image. It is non-directional, which means if cards are reversed, you can't tell from the back. However, I do not think this is a system that does reversals. Oh, it does. Okay. It does. So as you can tell, I haven't really worked with this deck. It's been in my stack of things that need unboxed for months. Hate to say that, but it's true. Let's go to the cards. These are alphabetical, in alphabetical order, so there are no numbers on the cards. And we can see we've got a title, we have an image, and then we have 4 other languages here. We've got, I think we have French and Italian and Spanish and Russian, it looks like. Yes, I do believe that is the case. So this little white book, let's say this at the outset, it shows just a 5-card reading at the beginning, tells about the cards using the fortune-telling deck, and then one of the most often used spreads was the cross spread, which it shows at the beginning, only 5 cards, how to interpret them, and then we're into Italian. So this is why I did a search online, because there is nothing in this little white book about meanings of the cards. Alrighty. So we start off with cheerfulness, and I have to say this is a system that I am not familiar with. So we have cheerfulness, we have 3 people doing a toast, kind of harkens back to the 3 of Cups in the Tarot, and I'm going to zoom you in more, as you know, I do this a lot, I know, but do you forgive me? Okay, here we go. Does that make it better? I think it does. Okay. So there's cheerfulness, and the style is really old, an old illustrative style. You can imagine books from the early 1900s with these kind of illustrations in them. Then we have child, baby in a bassinet, bambino, niño, enfant, ruski. Consolation. consolation. So we have an angel. There's a guy sitting here. He's got like a book in front of him. And there's this angel coming down, bringing him something. There's like a lantern and maybe laurels or something, a peace offering. But consolation, which, you know, there's two meanings you could go with. Consolation in that I am consoling someone. And I guess it's not a different meaning when you think of like a consolation prize of something to console you because you did not win. Okay. Constancy. We have a woman standing by a stone pillar. Something looks like maybe like, oh, it's like the top of this pillar has been knocked off. Interesting. And there's like a temple in the background. So right away, I'm going to go to this book and see what kind of descriptions we have. Let's look at constancy. And it has original Italian title, Constanza, constancy, Costanza. This is a positive card that gives assurance that with commitment, strength, and determination, life's difficulties are overcome. Continuity, steadiness, reliability, consistency, solidity, purposeful, prudent, determined, patient, long-term, long-lasting, far-sighted, lack of change, solid, accountability, fixed. So there's a really nice range of keywords here that you can see the card used as a noun, continuity, steadiness, as an adverb or an adjective, purposeful, prudent. You can see timing, long-term, long-lasting, far-sighted. And then you can see kind of a reverse idea, lack of change, accountability. One might say rigidity and stubbornness would go too. So symbols. The card depicts a woman unruffled and secure leaning on a ruined column. The ruined column could indicate an unwanted event that has occurred in the past, but despite this, the woman is strong. Her hair is blowing in the wind, but she's steadfast, stubborn, perpetually wise. She is waiting for someone, prepared to fight if needed. There's a temple in the background. The temple could represent wisdom. And then we have something that says straight. This card is favorable and assures the inquirer that with commitment, strength, and determination, they can overcome life's difficulties. Constancy is rewarded. There will not be a change in attitude. Commitments will be maintained. Lovers will be faithful. Constancy in work is rewarded. Might have a mild negative meaning when linked to an adverse event, suggesting that despite efforts, little or nothing will change, that the situation is unmovable or static. So just that range of meanings there really shows me how this is going to operate like a Lenormand deck or a Kipper deck, where everything modifies what's around it. Suggestions for, then we have, if you're asking about love, loyalty and sincerity are rewarded. Work, time invested in work, sacrifices pay off. Health is excellent, look to the future. And then there's just one line advice, maintain continuity with the past, be consistent and true. Then it talks about location in a cross spread. So it gives the meaning for each position in that cross spread that we're going to look at. And then there are reversed meanings. Indicates inconsistency, hesitation, impulsive behavior, lack of stability. So we can go with the opposite, but I'm thinking it could also mean just to a detrimental degree. Stubborn, constant, to a detrimental degree, unwilling to change, rigidity, that kind of stuff. And then it connects it to other card systems, 10 of Hearts. It connects it to dates and numbers. Now, the one thing I didn't see here is how many cards are in this deck. It doesn't say there. Since we don't have numbers, let's see if we can find that. I will say that the copyright on this is 2017. This has got to be deluxe edition print ebook. That's really strange. I am stunned that it's such a recent copyright. I was expecting to see, you know, such and such edition. It doesn't tell me how many cards are in this deck. Okay, introduction. And then we go straight into card interpretations. I'm not going to sit here and count them, but how weird. So we have constancy, conversation. So these are going to be pretty straightforward. You don't really need me to tell you how the symbols match what the keyword is, you know. It's a pretty clear illustration of people sitting together in conversation. Then we have death, represented as a being with bat wings carrying a scythe and a skull, so kind of, you know, the classical Grim Reaper kind of imagery. Then we have despair. Holy shit, look at this. So we got a guy standing here holding a gun to his head. Yikes. Doctor. Okay, someone caring for a person. Enemy. And we got somebody hiding behind a tree. So, you know, that tells me, so, you know, doctor can be the person that cares for someone else. It can be the need to see a doctor. It can be the person, you know, being cared for. In general, just it's time to remedy something. It's time to acknowledge where there's illness. You know, something needs fixed, something needs healed. And then we have enemy, so we can just talk straight up somebody I'm in conflict with, somebody I don't agree with, but this also carries a little vibe of hidden enemies. Somebody's hanging out behind a tree waiting to come get you. Faithfulness, and it's a dog. Falseness, and it's a cat. I hate it when they do that. You know, the difference between dogs and cats to me is you can make a dog be loyal to you even if you're horribly abusive to it. A cat, you can't. So falseness, cats, all right. And, you know, the old misogyny of dogs being associated with the masculine and cats being associated with the feminine and witches and all that, it will never not piss me off. Okay, foe. So we have enemy and foe. I am interested in what the difference is here. Okay, this is a negative card describing a male enemy who is devious and will use any means to undermine one's personal or financial situation. Now, foe is a negative card that either represents a female that is wicked or a backstabber, or an event that is a hindrance. So the enemy card specifically says this is a male enemy. Opposition, forces working against, confrontation, espionage, circumstantial evidence, distrust, imposter, false friend, enemy, unaware of something that's wrong or a problem arising. So, you know, it could be not specifically male or female, but under foe, we have female, enemy, rival, competition, fake friend, wickedness, hypocrisy, bad advice, intrigues, deceit, and fraud. So there is a subtle difference, and it would take me a while to really internalize what those differences are. Moving on, fortune. I gotta say, I'm getting kind of jazzed about reading this deck because I have been doing, you know, more of this type of cartomantic reading. And here's a new system. So fortune, we've got money flying everywhere, right? Luck and good fortune. So fortune, like in the Wheel of Fortune, it doesn't really symbolize just luck. It symbolizes the turning of that wheel and how luck and fortune changes throughout life because it's a wheel and it's turning. This is indicating good fortune with money flying everywhere. Then we have friend, frivolity, and we're showing a butterfly. That's interesting. Descriptive card symbolizing lightness, superficiality, inconsistency, and carefree joy. Lots of range there. Inconsistency, inconstancy, frivolity, but just lightness and joy. So we do have a range with all of these. Undecided, fickle, irregular, changing, impulsive, thoughtless, perilous behavior. So that definitely moves us away from the lightness and carefree joy. Gift. I mean, there's a difference between carefree and careless, right? Carefree is I'm unburdened by cares. Careless is I am ignoring cares. I'm careless. I'm, you know, to my detriment. Okay, here we have gift. That's pretty straightforward. Haughtiness is the peacock. Hope. I'm interested in what they're holding here. I'm so glad I found this journal, and it's been a long enough time since I downloaded and printed it that I don't remember anything. This is a positive card providing encouragement that relief for the current situation is coming. Okay, the card depicts a troubled woman. The setting is an open space with a beautiful sky, and she's sitting alone on a hill or a rock. She is bending in on herself, curled almost into a fetal position. Her position suggests she is focused within herself and that the impact of her hopes is very personal. She has a white blindfold and is holding on to a frame with a chain. The blindfold suggests an inability to see outward, so she's focused inward. Hope comes from within. They are born from hopes come from within. They are born from introspection and clairvoyance. So I'm not sure what the frame with the chain. Oh, you know what? I mean, it really is, hope is a frame of mind. Interesting that they mention that frame with a chain and then don't really say representing. Okay. House. Journey. So very much like Lenormand, writer and house. Joyfulness. Letter. Lord. So we've already had a conversation card talking about verbal communication. Letter clearly is going to be talking about written communication. Lord. We have a Lord card, but we didn't have a Lady card, did we? Yes, my memory is that short. No, we didn't have a Lady card. Interesting. Love. Little fat Cupid. Lover. Malady. Melancholy. So there are a lot of seemingly repetitive cards. We had despair with the guy, pointing a gun at his head. Melancholy, clearly different than that. Despair would then mean, next to melancholy, despair is clearly talking about end of the rope. I am at the end of my tether and caving in. Melancholy just seems to be more of a general mood. Sadness. Merchant. Messenger. Okay, I want to look back here again because we had, okay, that was journey. Because the rider card in Lenormand can talk about being a messenger. Okay, so news incoming. Misfortune, boy, I'll say. Wow. Money. Old woman. But we didn't have an old man. Pleasure seekers. Wow. Priest. Prison. Reunion. Room. So this is kind of taking me back to Kipper cards because Kippers have, a home which shows sort of a personal construct. And then there's one for living room, which is internal. So the house and room here reflect that too. Same kind of thing. Scholar. Servant. Service. Size. So melancholy and size. What are the difference here? What are the differences? I am so sorry I can't speak English. Criminy. All right. Melancholy represents sadness, resignation, suffering with dignity, dwelling on mistakes, disappointments, abandonment, depression, upset, grief, anguish, anxiety, regrets. Sighs is the emotions, thoughts, worries, or anxieties experienced while waiting for an answer or after a negative answer. Searching for an answer or solution, anticipation, expectation, isolation, abandonment, loneliness, separated, divorced, widowed. So this is a lot less deeply emotional and despondent than melancholy was. Soldier. Sorrow. Wow. So what's the difference here? Card symbolizes sorrow and loss, profound sadness, anguish, pain, grief, separation, broken heart, serious problems of money or health. And so this was like, I would take like sighs, melancholy, sorrow, and then despair if we're going on a gradient of sadness here. Surprise. And I already know what I'm going to do with this deck. I'm going to sort them into cards that are similar so that I can really look at what the differences are. Surprise! Looks like he's pulling a bunch of money out of the water. Sweetheart. So we had lover, and then we have sweetheart. Thief. Thought. Waiting. Wedding. Widower. Wife. And young woman. Interesting that we don't have like character cards that are really parallel each other. Like young woman, we don't have a young man. We have wife, we don't have husband. We have lord, we don't have lady. So I'm very much interested in where we're going to go with these. But let's go back to the introduction and see what we can learn. All right. Me. The traditions of card reading as a means of providing answers to life's questions are centuries old. There are numerous decks to choose from for cartomancy, including Tarot, Lenormand, Sibyl, or Oracle-style decks. The card deck discussed in this book is the Sibilla della Zingara, or the Roma Oracle deck, which is widely believed to be an evolution of a Lenormand-style deck. Yes, absolutely, I would agree with that. And you know what? I need to know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 51, 2. Okay, 52 cards. I write this book respectful of the traditions and origins of the cards, but with a modern vision for the card meanings and interpretation. The most significant difference is that I've broadened the meanings of the cards to be more gender neutral. So the cards are gendered, but they're saying the meanings are more gender neutral. So if we have young woman, possibly that could mean young man as well, young person. Okay. They say gender neutral, but the cards are still gendered. The traditional gender roles represented in the cards put unrealistic restraints on the reader's ability to interpret today's life situations. For example, a doctor or scholar is not necessarily a male person as depicted on the card, but rather a person who has the attributes or plays the role of a doctor or scholar. That doesn't mean that a card never represents a male or female person in a reading, but rather it doesn't limit the interpretation to one gender or the other. Now, we've already seen a couple cards that the meanings absolutely do say this is a particular gender. And I question if you're going to do an update of something and say it's because I want to get beyond gender norms, why don't we completely redo? So I'm hearing a need here. My goal in writing this book is to share my understanding of these cards and how to interpret them, but I want to emphasize that the most important voice to listen to when doing a reading is your inner voice. Whether you believe that voice is divine in origin, guided by spirits, a channeling of energy, or your own intuition and experience, it takes practice to tap into this source of knowledge. I don't believe the cards have magical powers. Rather, they are a vehicle to tap into the source to provide insights into the situation or question being asked. I agree. I am often asked if the cards can predict the future. I don't believe that they can because I don't believe what will happen is predetermined. That's it. Exactly. The cards provide guidance, offer suggestions, warnings, encouragement, and advice. In other words, a weather report. With this added insight into the situation, people, and circumstances surrounding them, the inquirer can use the information to make decisions that will shape their own future. Okay, and in this book, we don't have, I think at the back we'll get the little reading, and there is a thing about the author at the back that I would like to read here too. As you can see, this did not print quite right. Anyway, so Jacqueline Murray, M. Jacqueline Murray. Jacqueline is not easily defined. She is a scientist, business professional, photographer, musician, and now author with the release of her first book. Jacqueline's breadth of passions results from her curiosity, fearlessness, and open mind, which fuel her desire to experience new things, explore new places, and be constantly learning. From an early age, Jacqueline had strong emotional responses to people and situations. She was encouraged by a dear friend to nurture and develop these instincts with the Roma oracle cards as a means to channel her intuition. Perhaps due to her Italian heritage, Jacqueline connected immediately with these cards. The desire to develop her intuitive gifts, combined with her scientific approach, led Jacqueline to begin researching and documenting both her personal understanding of the cards along with the traditional meanings used by readers around the world, in particular those in Italy where these cards have been used for generations. This work also leads to the realization that there were few good references in English for these cards and inspired Jacqueline to develop her folders of notes and research into this book. Jacqueline has advanced degrees in both science and business and is fluent in several languages. She gains inspiration from travel and divides her time between her homes in the USA, Italy, and Canada. All right. So let's see if that... Okay, so there are several other spreads at the back here. We have the cross spread, the 7-card spread, the 9-card, the 5 and 3 card spreads, and then there was a relationship spread. I am going to do the cross spread because it seems to be pretty straightforward. And Samantha, my dear, this reading is for you. All right. So, let's, I didn't get a charcoal going here. Let's do that, shall we? I'm only going to light a small one. Right. And let's do a little bit of a smoke cleanse, eh? Let's put it right out. All right, there we go. Good gravy. I think this is going to end up being edited out. While that's lighting, I will say thank you to my guides and guardians, allies and ancestors for being here with me as I zoom out. And for this particular reading, Samantha, I would like to focus on what you are working on manifesting, all right? And we'll just leave it at that and see what comes up. So, let's put a little... Oh my goodness, things just aren't working. It's getting hung up on my fingernail. Okay, so we'll get a little bit of a sage smoke going there to cleanse, and then a little bit of ocean water to bless, and then let's throw a little bit of fire of Azrael as an offering to my guides and guardians, allies and ancestors. I offer you fresh water. I offer you the fire of Azrael to awaken the spirit of divination in this deck, and most especially I offer my gratitude to my guides and to you, Samantha. All right, let's give her a shuffle. I don't anticipate any trouble here. Nope. It's like a 52-card deck. Wow. It's so funny when you've been reading for a long time and then you pick up a deck of playing cards and shuffle them, and it's like, woo, you feel like an expert. All right, one more, and then we're going to cut. All right, cut shuffle. So now, Samantha, I'm not reversing any of these. The question is, tell me about... All right, this one wants to come out too. So we have 1 in the present situation, 2 is past influences. Let's just kind of keep doing this and see what happens. Who else wants to come out? And if nobody else wants to fly out, I will cut. So I'm telling that to the deck. You know, when, okay, 3, here we go. 2, okay, 3, 4, and 5. Weird layout. You know, very, very kind of strange that you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. But ours is not to reason why. So, in this spread, oh, you didn't realize I had my Hollow Valley sitting there the whole time. Holy moly, am I together today? No. The spread is described in the leaflet that accompanies the oracle cards. It can be used for all types of questions, is particularly useful for complex questions or situations where there are numerous possible influences and outcomes. Cards are dealt face down. Then a card is placed above, below, to the right, and to the left. For a simple question, just one set of 5 cards may be sufficient, but for complex questions, the reader should deal 4 stacks. The reader then turns over the 5 cards on top and interprets the cards as a group. Interesting. Okay, so you turn over the top card, look at the group, and then do you go down through the stack? I don't know. Okay, so the center card represents an aspect of the current situation. And this is sorrow. So obviously we have some things here that are not working. This card symbolizes sorrow and loss, profound sadness, anguish, pain, grief, separation, broken heart, serious problems of money or health. The card shows a woman who's clearly in anguish. She's draped over a column at the base of a stairway leading up to a villa. There is a blue scarf draped over her and hiding the head of the figure carved into the column. The color blue symbolizes sadness and the draping symbolizes inconsolability. There is a note or letter at her elbow suggesting that bad news has come that has thrown this woman into turmoil and despair. There is a large rose bush nearby and a single flower is separated and on the ground nearby, which could be a statement that something once alive and vibrant is now permanently separated and dying. In the background is the sea. It is calm and the sky is not ominous, symbolizing that the news has come suddenly out of the blue. Okay, this is a negative card suggesting serious obstacles and sudden misfortune. So we do know that there's an aspect here of obstacles. If we want to look at it in the most neutral light here before we get to all the other cards, we're talking about an obstacle or a situation that just is not working, not supportive on as far as your resources, as far as your health. The current situation is not working. And remember, we're reading this in terms of what you are attempting to manifest. All right, let's go on. And then we can't really go further until we see the other cards because they're going to influence each other, right? And under interpretation here, it says the cards are interpreted considering the meanings and locations of the cards. Take time to consider each card and how it relates back to the central card or present situation. Also consider each group of 5 together, and then at the end of the reading, all the cards of a particular position. So this is, yes, if you do the stacks. Predominantly negative or positive cards could suggest whether the answer is yes or no. We didn't ask a yes or no question. If there are common themes in the advice or obstacle positions, this could suggest a pattern of behavior or strong recommendations that will influence the way the situation will develop. So the next card, the number 2 card we take here, is past influences. And we have falseness. Okay. Suivez la piste. Follow the trail. Anybody that's taken like college French would recognize that. All right. This negative card suggests the need to be careful and watchful. Flattery conceals cheating and falsehoods. But you know what we're going to do? These meanings give us meanings for the cross spread in each position. So we're going to go with this. Above, past things have not been as they seem. A falsehood has been discovered. All right, I'm going to keep going just to see where we get. Again, we want to take everything in context, and we don't have the full context laid out yet. So this one is future influences, conversation. And when we look that up for the position, we get there will be a conversation or meeting. pretty straightforward. Now, straightforward to the degree of simplistic. 4 is here. This one is obstacles. What is in front of or getting in the way of a positive outcome? Frivolity. All right. And if we look that up, in front, being scatterbrained, flighty, or indecisive will be the challenge. The universe just said, quit changing the request. Quit changing. Yeah, okay. Now, last one is advice. We have pleasure seekers. Wow. Well, I mean, this is a test drive, and this could be why this deck got moved along. We'll see what we can get. So behind, advice, do not be reckless, or errors in judgment could result. All right. Pardon me. So, certainly the current situation says there's something that is unsatisfactory, that is causing sorrow. Could be things dealing with money or health, that the situation is just not optimal for those things. Up above, the past talks about falseness, and I'm not sure, you know what, I'm going to take another card they're telling me just off the top. Hope. Okay, falseness and hope. So, all right, so what this is telling me is that maybe we need to really bring our hopes for what can be into alignment with real possibility. So the falseness here could just say that we're being what we're projecting out in order to manifest might not quite be in line with what can be realistically expected. So, this is a piece of advice I give a lot in my readings is, and I'm trying to remember the card that usually comes up when I'm saying this, and I can't. But anyway, it's bringing your expectations into alignment with reality. Okay? And then we had frivolity being the obstacle. No, wait. Future influences, conversation. So this is saying that going forward, you need to start talking to specific people about things. And, what I'm seeing is particular people that can actually do something, or that have the information you really need. So this could even extend into actually reaching out and contacting particular people about what is available to you, in what you're trying to manifest. So conversation comes in, saying it, putting it into words. And now we have this, the obstacles are frivolity. And like I said, I heard the universe say, quit changing the order. So when we're manifesting, when we're doing magical work to manifest, as you know, my dear, I'm not telling you anything you do not know, we need to be specific. And, okay, here is what I need, absolutely specific. And so the universe gets to work. But then you put something else out there. Oh, yes, and the universe says, okay, well, never mind. Wait, we'll start again here. And when you keep changing the request, it can push things down the road, is what I'm getting. And it could be, and this is the act of faith here, it could be, it in fact is, that the universe and spirit and your guides know way better what you really, really need than you do. So could possibly be time for a heart's desire type spell where you make the ultimate statement of faith in the universe and your guides and say, bring to me, in this category, the absolutely perfect thing for me at this time. The absolutely perfect thing. But this too, obstacles frivolity, is saying that it's time to get very, very serious about the looking. And I'm also seeing that obstacles. All right, let's take a look at this card. Wait. A lot of F's. Okay. Suggestions. Straight. This card is generally positive in that it suggests lightness and a carefree existence. However, frivolity is a superficial behavior, often irresponsible, can indicate one who jumps from one thing to another, underestimating the gravity of events. Superficiality, undervaluing people or situations, or disregard for the details are also characteristics communicated with this card. All right, now I'm getting led back here. Disregard for details. So we do need to work within real parameters. And I'm not saying to not be hopeful, to not dream big, but we also want to bring things really in a real practical context, because the other thing is, if we're dreaming really, really big based on hopes that are sort of beyond what's currently possible, the perfect thing for us can actually show up, and we'll say, no, that's not it, because I'm dreaming bigger. And we can actually give up a situation that is absolutely perfect for what we really truly do need, but we've based our projection and our request to the universe on a situation that doesn't exist. Okay, here's what I want because I'm thinking that things are going to be this way down the line, rather than things are going to be based in the reality of the way things are now. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Card warns of perilous behavior that could result in later regrets, or saying or doing things without considering the consequences. It can also suggest that the inquirer is one who is perched close to the edge, content to be in a precarious balance. The meaning of this card is not decisive, rather it's descriptive of a mood or feeling, and does not strongly influence associated cards. Okay. This card can signify a person who's scatterbrained or flighty, or a state of dizziness or confusion. I'm going to take a hit on that too. Frivolity and friend. Oh, it's right there. So in this category, it says the obstacle can be having confidence in a friend for advice, accepting counsel and support. Is that really an obstacle? I don't know. Friendship, trust, security, faithfulness, help, attentiveness, good advice, positive news, gifts, your own best friend. So I would say, perhaps a friend can help you understand where you're kind of needing to ground down, where it's needing to be grounded in more specifically in the reality of the now. All right. And then we had conversation, which is which position? Future influences. So we're going to have conversations. The pleasure seekers is an really interesting thing. Advice. Pleasure seeker. Go out and have fun. Pleasure seekers. Do not be reckless, or errors in judgment could result. Okay. So, all right, I'm hearing, just incoming intuitively, that this is not something the universe is going to fix. It is something that the universe is going to partner with you on, because you are a powerful crone. You are powerful. And So you're partnering with the universe, and your part is having your feet on the ground, truly recognizing what your needs are first. And I'm not sure where I'm going with that. Let's see here. The interpretation of this card is very dependent on adjacent cards and the nature of the inquiry. When associated with positive cards like cheerfulness or fortune, it can indicate a party or fun but disorderly gathering of friends. When associated with negative cards, it can often represent crazy thoughts, agitation, recklessness, or delirium. Well, getting carried away, being swept up in the being swept up in the crowd, or being negatively influenced by peers are also possible interpretations. Card warns there could be confusion, misunderstandings, delusions, or crazy behavior. Let's take a hit on that too. Journey. Okay. So, again, I'm just really seeing that, it might be time to sit and make a list of all the things that you totally, absolutely need, putting your health and well-being first because of this sorrow card in the middle. Your health, your happiness, your well-being needs to be central. They're telling me take one more. Wife. Okay. Well, wife, I think, would be a card of someone who takes care of people, who takes care of the home, who takes care of loved ones. So being in this place, putting your needs first, being that partner to yourself, and again, putting your needs first based on absolutely where you're at now, what you need now, reality, grounded in reality. It's like I've taken a card for everybody. We'll take conversation. Waiting came up here too. So talking and waiting, but let's get our hopes simplified is what I'm hearing. Simplified. All right? The biggest problem we need to solve is getting your needs met, what you need, physically, emotionally, monetarily, financially, all that stuff. What you specifically need. That comes first, and then all the rest can follow along. All right. I hope, Samantha dear, that you got something from that. This is a deck I'm going to have to play with for a while, I can tell. It definitely vibes, with my Lenormand learning and Kipper learning and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to take a while because there are 52 of them, and they're, slightly different. So like I said, one of the exercises is going to be sorting them out into like categories and then looking at the gradients of meaning in all of these things. Fascinating. I'm going to do a reading for myself with these like right away as soon as I click the off button because, yeah, I got some questions too. I hope you got something from that, my love, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it soon. Let's do that. I always love talking to you. All right, you guys, I hope you got something out of that, and if you did, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, you could do that as well. Down below are places you can send me tips. There's an Amazon wish list that I will read for you if you purchase me a deck. You can send me a question through Amazon. Or not. And if you find it difficult to send me a note through Amazon when you purchase, hit me on my DM on Facebook. There's an @ down there, and you can click that and say, hey, I bought you that deck, here's my question. All right. When I do get gift decks coming in like that, I will unbox it like immediately. I will put up a video for you. All right. Okay, you guys, I hope you have a stellar day, and I will see you on a next unboxing or a live stream or some such thing. And until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.